The body movements. Lesson preview. Body organization and structure. Body movements. Joints and movements. Human skeletal system. Movements in human body. Movements in other animals. Body organization and structure. Cells are the building blocks or structural units of all living things. In unicellular organisms, all necessary life processes are carried out in a single cell. In a multicellular organism, various life processes are carried out by different groups of cells. For example, the white blood cells in our body fight against infections and diseases caused by invading harmful organisms. A group of cells which together perform a special function is called a tissue. Bone, muscle, blood, skin, etc. are some of the tissues in our body. For instance, blood tissues are a group of specialized cells which help carry oxygen, nutrients, carbon dioxide, and waste material to and from various parts of the body, and to fight against harmful foreign organisms. Tissues combine together to form an organ. Each organ performs an important body function. For example, the lungs are organs that help us to breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. The ears help us hear and identify sounds. The heart, liver, and kidneys are some other organs which perform vital functions in our body. A number of organs work together in harmony to perform various life processes in our body. For example, mouth, the food pipe, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and certain other organs together aid in the digestion of food we eat. Such a group of organs is called an organ system. The group of organs that helps us digest and assimilate food is called the digestive system. Some other organ systems in our body are nervous, circulatory, respiratory, excretory, and reproductive systems. All such organ systems together constitute our body. They all work in perfect coordination to keep us alive. Bodies of all living multicellular organisms are organized as follows: cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, human body, body movements. Even while sitting in one place, a number of movements take place in our body. We are blinking our eyes from time to time. We are breathing. We may be moving our hands or legs, etc. We walk from one place to another moving our legs. Animals move from one place to another in different ways. They may walk, run, fly, jump, hop, creep, crawl, slither or swim. Table 8.1 Animals and their movements. Animal. Body part. Movement. 1. Horse. Legs. Walks. 2. Snake. Whole body. Slithers. 3. Fish. Fins. Tail. Swims. 4. Bird. Wings. Flies. 5. Cockroach. Legs. Wings. Walks. Flies. Climbs. 6. Ant. Legs. Crawls. 7. Grasshopper. Hind legs. Jumps. We will first look at our body movements before studying in detail about the movements in animals. Some parts of our body can move more than the others. Some parts can move in more than one direction, whereas some can move in only one direction. Activity. Bend your elbow up and down. You will be able to do it easily. Now ask someone to tie a ruler lengthwise onto your elbow. Try to bend your elbow again. What do you notice? You will not be able to bend it. Joints and movements. We are able to bend or rotate our body in places where two parts of our body are joined together, as in the elbow, shoulder, knee, neck, etc. The place where two bones meet or are joined together is known as a joint. Bones cannot move due to their hardness. We are able to move the bones in different ways because of joints and muscles. Bones are held together at the joints by ligaments. Activity. Feel the bones with your hand starting from the head, face, neck, shoulder, chest, arm, legs, fingers, toes, ear, etc. You will feel some hard structures. They are bones. Some are small, whereas others are big and long. Kinds of joints. Different kinds of joints in the human body are as follows. Ball and socket joint. In this type of joint, the end of one of the bones is like a ball, which fits into a socket, hollow space, of the other bone. The ball can move inside the socket freely in any direction. This type of joint is found in the shoulders and in the hips. Pivot joint. Our head is joined to the neck by the pivot joint. This joint allows movement of the head in all directions, up and down, and sideways. In this joint, the rounded surface of one bone fits into a dent in the other bone. The head rests on this ring. Hinge joint. This joint allows movement in one direction only, i.e. either up and down or backward and forward, like the hinges of the door. Such joints are found in the elbows, knees and fingers. Gliding joint. Gliding joints allow the bones to glide past one another in any direction along the plane of the joint, up and down, left and right, and diagonally. Such type of joint is found in the ankles, wrists and spine. Fixed joint. Fixed joints do not allow any movement. Most of the joints between the bones in the skull are fixed joints. Joints in the tooth socket are also of this type. Activity. Open your mouth wide. What do you notice? You are able to open your mouth by moving your lower jaw away from the head. Try moving your upper jaw. You will not be able to move it. This is because the upper jaw and the head are joined together with a fixed joint. The lower jaw is movable. Human skeletal system. Have you ever wondered what gives different shapes to our different body parts? The framework of bones in the human body called the skeleton gives shape to our body. We can have an idea about the shape and the number of bones in the different parts of our body with the help of X-ray photographs. Skull. Clavicle collarbone. Mandible jawbone. Scapula. Thorax. Humerus. Sternum breastbone. Ulna. Rib cage. Spine vertebral column. Radius. Pelvis. Carpals. Sacrum. Metacarpals. Phalanges. Femur. Patella. Tibia. Fibula. Tarsals. Metatarsals. Phalanges. Adult human skeleton consists of 206 bones. A baby has many more bones, some of which fuse together as it grows up into adulthood. Functions of the skeleton. The skeleton has the following 4 primary functions. Support. Our body has a number of soft organs and muscles, and hence a hard framework is needed to lend them support, else the body will collapse. Our skeleton provides this framework and holds us erect. Protection. Our soft and delicate vital organs are protected by bones. The skull protects the brain, the rib cage protects the heart, lungs, and liver. Movement. Individual bones are hard and rigid, but several of these bones can move at places where they are joined to other bones. This is why you can move your arms, legs, fingers, etc. Manufacture of blood cells. Bones are hard on the outside, but inside they are soft and spongy. The inside of bones contains a soft substance called bone marrow. Blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. The human skeleton consists of 4 basic parts: skull, backbone, ribs, and limbs. Skull. The skull is made up of 22 bones. It is the bony structure that surrounds and protects the brain. It has cavities for eyes, nose, and mouth. Its upper part or cranium has 8 flat bones joined together. The face and jaw contain 14 bones. Our teeth are fixed to the jaw bones. The lower jawbone is the only movable bone in the skull. It enables us to speak and chew food. Spine, backbone. When we press and move our fingers in the middle of our back, we feel a long, hard bony structure. It is the spine, which is made up of 33 small bones called vertebrae. The vertebrae are joined together by joints which allow only very slight movement. That is why we are able to bend and twist our back. If it were made up of one long bone, we would not be able to bend our body. The spine is attached to the base of the skull. It forms the central supporting rod for the skeleton. Each vertebra has a hole in it. The delicate organ spinal cord passes through these holes. The spine is also called the backbone or the vertebral column. Ribs. Can you feel the bones of your chest? To feel them, take a deep breath and hold it for some time. They are thin, flat, curved bones that form a cage-like structure called the rib cage, which protects heart, lungs, parts of the stomach, and kidneys. There are 12 pairs of ribs. The last 2 pairs are called floating ribs as they are not attached to the sternum, breastbone. Limbs. The humerus is attached to the vertebral column through the clavicle, collarbone, and the shoulder blade or scapula. The thigh bone is called the femur. It is the longest and strongest bone in our body. It is attached to the hip bone through the hip joint. The lower leg has a long shin bone and calf bone. The ankles and the feet also have a number of small bones. The upper arm has a long bone called the humerus. The lower arm has 2 bones, radius and ulna. The wrist and the hand also have several bones. The humerus is attached to the vertebral column through the collarbone and the shoulder blade. Pelvic bones. Pelvic bones enclose the portion of the body below the stomach. We sit with the help of these bones. The ends of bones are covered with cartilage. It is a smooth elastic tissue. It acts as a shock absorber and prevents rubbing of bones against each other at the joints. Movements in human body. It is the muscles that help in movement. Muscles are attached onto the bones by special tough tissues called tendons. The muscles work in pairs, i.e. 2 sets of muscles are needed to move a bone in one direction. When one muscle contracts, the bone is pulled in that direction and the other muscle of the pair relaxes. Similarly, to move the bone in the opposite direction, the relaxed muscle contracts while the first muscle relaxes. The movements of the arms are controlled by 2 muscles called biceps and triceps. A muscle cannot push, it can only pull. Thus, 2 muscles have to work together to move a bone, raising the arm, lowering the arm. Movements in other animals. Earthworm. Earthworms do not have bones. They have liquid skeletons. They have liquid trapped in spaces inside the body. The muscles squeeze against this liquid to keep the body firm. The body of the earthworm is made up of many segments joined end to end. It moves due to repeated expansion and contraction of its muscles. The earthworm first extends the front part of its body, keeping its rear portion fixed to the ground. Next, it fixes the front portion and releases the rear portion. This shortens the body, pulling the rear portion forward. Earthworm carries out repeated muscle expansions and contractions to move forward. It moves forward each time by a very small distance. A number of tiny hair-like bristles called setae are present on the lower surface of the body, which provide good grip on the ground. Setae are connected to the muscles. Earthworm's body secretes a slimy substance which helps in its movement. Snail. A snail carries a rounded structure called shell on its back. It is the skeleton which it carries outside the body. It is not made of bones. Such a skeleton is called an exoskeleton. The snail has a thick structure called a foot made up of strong muscles. It is situated below the belly. It produces a series of wave-like movements that push the body forward. Shell does not help in movement, but is simply dragged with the body. Cockroach. Cockroach can walk, climb as well as fly. It has 3 pairs of legs which help it in walking. The body of cockroach is covered with a hard outer skeleton, exoskeleton. It has no bones. There are 2 pairs of wings attached to the breast. The breast muscles help to move the wings when the cockroach flies. The leg muscles support the legs in walking and climbing. Birds. Birds fly in the air and walk on the ground. Some birds like duck can swim in water. The bones of birds are hollow and very light. The 2 hind limbs are used for walking and perching. The forelimbs of birds are modified as wings which are used for flying. Birds have strong shoulder bones. The whole body including wings is covered with feathers. Strong muscles in birds' breastbones help them to flap their wings and fly. Birds have streamlined body. Fish. Animals which have skeletons inside their body include fish, amphibians, birds, reptiles, and mammals. Such skeleton is called internal skeleton, endoskeleton. The fish also has a streamlined body, i.e. the body of the fish is broader in the middle and narrow at both ends. This shape allows the fish to cut through water efficiently as the water resistance is reduced. The skeleton of a fish is covered with strong muscles which contract on one side and expand on the other side. Thus, a fish forms a curve and moves in a zigzag manner. The tail fin also moves along the body in a similar manner, pushing against the water. It helps in changing direction. This makes a jerk and pushes the body forward. A fish also has dorsal, pelvic, and anal fins which help to balance its body. By moving its tail, a fish can change the direction of its movement. Snakes. The snake has a long flexible backbone. It has many thin muscles connected to the ribs, backbone, and skin. It can curve its body into many loops. Each loop pushes against the ground to make the body move forward in a wavy manner.